Hello. In this video, we are going to add color and actually change the color of things on the page with functions. So I'm going to start by showing you the way that this can work inside the HTML. Now, we've seen before how you can change the color of things with the style.css document here. Um, so we could use this to change the color, change the background color of things. I'll show you just because I opened it up. I'll show you how we could change the color of the button right here in the CSS. But I am not going to keep this here, so I'm just going to delete this anyway. But we have these two different buttons here, and we have to identify them by their ID because there's two of them. So somehow we have to know which one is which. So how could I change the color of the upgrade button? Well, if I said just the button tag and then change their background color to green, then this is what I would see. All right, then both of them would be changed like that. So what if I just wanted to change the upgrade button? Well, then I would say button ID grade, and that's just like what we did in the JavaScript. Right, so now only the upgrade button has changed because we've said button with the ID of upgrade, and that hashtag is the ID symbol. And that's just like what we did in the JavaScript. That query selector used essentially a CSS selector. So just the same way you would identify things in CSS is how we did it there. So this is how I could do it in the CSS. Um, but I'm going to show you the different way because maybe you just want to type it right into the HTML, or you can make some changes there. But this is one way we could do it. For the sake of variety, I want to show you how you actually could do that right inside of the HTML. And this is nice when you have single elements that you want just one or two quick little settings changed. Do not have to switch back and forth between the CSS. CSS is really nice for like larger elements, and certainly elements that repeat over and over and over again, like subheadings or links or something like that. Um, so there's another way that I could change it just right in the HTML. So I find the button with the ID of upgrade, and I'll just add another attribute. It's the style attribute. And then I'll set it equal to a string that just explains the kind of style that I want. So I could change the background color. So I start to write stuff that looks like CSS. Background color is red. I just set that style property to this string that is basically CSS. Right, so that's what I have. So that I can just set the property like that. All right, and it's not super clear to the user. I don't think that that it's disabled. Maybe what I could do is play around with this a little bit. So at least in P5 here, I was able to click on this little icon next to the red. So I chose something that was still in the red. Maybe I could find something that's a little more black or something, a little more gray, and maybe set the transparency to not fully transparent. I could just play around with a few things and see what that looks like. Yeah, so I kind of like that I could play with this here. If you want exactly what I had, then this is the result of what I got. And then you could just copy these numbers off. Notice how it changed it to this RGBA function, so I could pass in a whole bunch of numbers. And this last value here is just the transparency. Well, actually, the opacity. It's only 85% opaque, so it's like 15% transparent then. But I just got that from clicking on this here. So you can just play around with something you like. I kind of like this better because it looks a little more disabled now. All right, so that is how I could just set that property. And then just to keep things simple, I'm gonna just go back to red. Right, but it looks like you can't really do anything. Like it's not really available. All right, but I'd want to change that, right? Once I have enough money to purchase something, then maybe I could make it green. And not that this is a great design, but I just really wanted to show you how you can change colors. Um, Going back into the JavaScript, then doing this inside of a function, waiting for the moment when it should turn green. So why should the button become green? Well, because you've clicked on the click me button enough that you have enough clicks to purchase something. So it's actually the same place we were before. So inside the button dot on click function, but then inside the if statement that makes sure you have enough, take upgrade dot disabled and set it equal to false. So now it is enabled. And then also take the upgrade the upgrade button variable, touch its style attribute, but then dive a little bit deeper and get into dot background color. Now here we had to use camel case. So notice no hyphen and then the uppercase C here. And then set that equal to quotes green. Right, so this is how you can do this in JavaScript. Upgrade dot style dot and then whatever property, just in camel case this time. Yep, so now it should be the case that when you're good to go, it changes green. All right, so this is the essence of how you change any style property um, of an element. Just dot style dot and then whatever it is, and then you can set it equal to what you want. So we should keep this idea going that once you've then purchased something, you can't buy it anymore. So we need to change the color back. So upgrade dot on click, if clicks is greater than price, all these things we've done before. Just add another line that then says upgrade dot style dot background color. Notice how it's camel case here, is equal to red again. So you have enough clicks, you can buy stuff, but then you've run out of clicks, so it goes back down. All right, so we were able to change the colors of different elements in our JavaScript.